I did like it better than Superman. Shoot me. What's up, guys? How's it going? And today I am going to be giving you my thoughts on the new Fantastic Four movie. I just saw it last night. Was Fantastic Four a step in the right direction for Marvel and for just superhero movies as a whole? My answer is I'll just start off with my general impressions of the movie. I honestly thought it was a good movie. Like, it was a fun, movie, to watch. It was engaging, it was fun, it was, whatever. It wasn't a bad movie. I didn't walk out of there disappointed. But I just did think, if you're looking at just Marvel from a whole and you're looking at superhero movies as a whole, I thought it was just your average Marvel, post-Endgame movie, honestly. Was it a little better than what they've been coming out with lately? Yes, for sure. And I do think that it does get a lot of glaze because due to it being better than a lot of stuff that Marvel has released, because of how bad some of the stuff has been, that people are like, oh my god, it might be one of the best, and it's just, no, it's not. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. That I think it was a good movie. Yeah, it was a good movie. I did like it better than Superman. Shoot me. I liked it better than Superman, and I'll get into that a little later. Basically, I just feel like with a lot of these Marvel movies, we're kind of going through the same hype pattern. It was the same thing with the Thunderbolts. Like that was also a pretty good movie. Like, it wasn't amazing, but it was higher standard than other recent Marvel stuff, and people just lose their mind every time a new one comes out that's semi good. And I think it's good that the movies are, maybe getting a little better, but in a way it deters me from seeing stuff, because right when I see all these great, positive, fantastic reviews, I'm like, oh boy, is this just going to be another repeat of, what it usually is? It's overhyped, it's not that good, and then the amount of stuff they released was nuts on the movie. I kind of wish they would have just, it feels like they released, a lot of the movie in trailer stuff, which they have to do in order to get people to see it because of where they are, and it's a necessary evil. But I just hate that that you have to reveal so much. When imagine going into that movie, you didn't know Galactus was going to be in it. That would have been crazy. But it's hard for them to do that and get the sales. So I get it, but I just feel like we're in this pattern where every new Marvel movie, it gets praised because it's semi better than what it used to be, and it's getting kind of old. I will go ahead and say spoiler alert for those who are watching who have not seen it. Go see it, and then you can come back. The beginning, I thought it was pretty slow. I won't lie. I understand you have to get all the characters, you got to sort of address their powers. Some people are newer. You kind of have to set the scene. I get all that. I thought it could have been done in a better way. I don't know. It was really slow, and I just felt like there should have been a little bit more fighting, a little bit more action, a little bit more fighting at the beginning. Our real true action really wasn't until they were being chased by Silver Surfer and Galactus, I feel like. But anyway, I thought the beginning was very slow, and then right when they visited Galactus, then it started to pick up, and I was like, okay, here we go, finally. And I think the movie kind of went up, and then at the end, back down, which was unfortunate. Like I said, still thought it was a good movie, but I did think that the middle of the movie was the best part, and the beginning and ends were not as good, for reasons I'll get into. What I liked about this was, and I've said it in other videos, was the higher stakes. Nailed it with the higher stakes. Great. Finally, there's this big dilemma. Galactus wants Sue's kid. He's willing to let Earth stay alive if they give up their kid, because the kid is supposed to be insanely powerful, which, another thing I'll get into later. They nailed it with the high stakes, and our heroes, try and cope with the fact that they might lose. It kind of felt like Infinity War in a way. Damn, this villain is so powerful. What the hell are we gonna do? That. I like that, and I like the higher stakes, and I like that, it didn't seem like this super easy task like some of these other movies. And yeah, that there was I thought there was the comedy in it. I'll address the comedy in it. I thought the comedy was good, but I thought there's a lot of comedy. But I thought it was done in a way where it wasn't as cringe. It was just more of exchanges and like banter in a way versus like these comedic one-liners, which I was like, if you're gonna do it, that's a better way to do it. But I do like the action better. So why did I like it better than Superman? Okay. First thing is the intensity and stakes were way higher than in the Superman movie. They had to choose between their own kid and the world. In the beginning or whatever, it was casual, but then like it kind of just it got, you know, way more intense and way more serious. Especially in the middle of the movie, that there were just times that were more intense and more that the stakes were higher. Like with the kid, they had to use the kid as bait. You know, they took a lot of risk, you know, in trying to defeat Galactus. You know, in Superman, there didn't feel like a lot of risk going on. There didn't feel like a lot of stakes. I think Fantastic Four was better able to balance some of the humor, action, and intensity than Superman was. Both movies had a pretty bad beginning, I would say, but I just feel like in Fantastic Four we had a villain that we felt really threatened by, and a villain and it just felt, you know, I just felt more into it than the Superman made me feel. I just felt more engaged with the cast and the storyline versus the Superman movie. It just felt very, very shallow and very, very boring. So the Superman, it just felt, the emotion just felt really shallow. Superman wasn't a great movie, so I feel like it's pretty easy to top. I just felt overall there wasn't like a ton of fighting in this whole movie. Like there's its fair share for sure. Johnny Storm uses his powers definitely the most. He was probably my favorite character in this movie. But they have such advanced technology that's like they don't even have a need for their powers. But I guess Reed Richards is so smart that he's able to do that. But I would have definitely liked to see more fighting, especially just in the beginning. Like, we just didn't see much, and I just kind of wanted to see, like, something to get me going in a way. A few just, like, semi-issues I had with some of the plot. I'll start off with the Galactus, when they go and visit Galactus. Great scene. I thought they did Galactus really, really well. He's super, super big. He's super, super powerful. When they are running away from Galactus and they're being chased by Silver Surfer, they're able to go near a black hole and basically lure her in, and then they can escape. But maybe I'm off on my maths, or maybe I'm off on my physics or whatever. I just feel like they definitely should have felt some of the effects of the time dilation as well, even being on the horizon. Or at least if you don't want to have them experience effects of it, like if they go back to their other Earth and it's like a different time or whatever, like that's fine. But it would have been so cool if maybe like they were on the horizon and they looked in and they saw like this future or something, like Avengers future or like a Marvel future. That would have been sick. But just a little thing, I feel like with the black hole thing they could have done a little more with it, but I thought it was cool they used it to like escape Silver Surfer's like her chasing them. I just have to say I absolutely loved the intensity of the chase scene. That's why it's probably my favorite, because, you know, Sue's giving birth, he's having to shoot down the Silver Surfer lady, they're all like asking Reed for help, and he's trying to balance, you know, taking care of his wife versus getting them out of the situation. I just thought it was a really good scene. Had me on the edge of my seat. I was like, finally. In terms of the CGI, I was a little skeptical when I saw the trailers and the hype videos. I just thought the CGI was alright. Like, it didn't blow me away, but I was like, oh, okay, like this is alright. Like, there were definitely moments when I was like, oh wow, this is a lot. I don't know, it wasn't as bad as like some of the other stuff. I don't know, it wasn't the CGI wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be, and it wasn't as in your face as I was expecting it to be, so I was like, okay, it's not as bad. I'll accept that for now. I thought the plot with Johnny Storm and Silver Surfer was definitely interesting, and I thought they could have gone even further with it. I thought they could have been more of a heavier plot that played more of a role, but it just kind of seems like, you know, they have this sort of weird connection at the beginning. You know, he studies her language and he's able to learn it, and he's able to, you know, get her with it in a way, learn about why she's doing what she's doing and all that. It could be this big moment, it could be even a fight, it could be whatever, but then she just goes away, and like that's all we really ever hear of it. So like, I don't know, it was nice to see like we got some background on her, but I wish they would have done more with the Johnny and Silver Surfer like plot. I was also seeing a lot of people saying like, why on earth would Sue go to meet Galactus if she was pregnant, blah 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 blah, and like, I feel like what you have to remember is they have been these beloved heroes like for a while now, and they probably haven't lost too many fights, if any. So in their mind, this is kind of just like another, you know, trip. This is just another, fight. Reed even says it, like, hey, if there's a guy you need to punch out of the ship, you can do it. Like, they're so casual about it. And more on the Silver Surfer stuff. Why is she warning the planets? That was one of my main sticks with her helping Galactus. Is she warning them kind of like a Thanos, Ebony Maw kind of thing? It's like, you're about to be the victims of, Thanos, prosper and rejoice, like making themselves known as gods in a way to the people? Or is she doing it to like help them prepare because deep down she doesn't agree with it? So she's like, hey, I could say I'm just warning them, but at least, they'll know, and hey, maybe they'll find a way out, like kind of like they did in this movie. It seems like it's the first reason, which is just surprising to me. Like, given why she's doing what she's doing, I would think that she would just want it to be a, clean rip-off, planet's done, that's it. Once you warn them, what's going to happen and all that, it's like, okay, now they're probably going to suffer in a way. Or maybe she wants them to, like, since they know what's happening, live their best lives. I don't know. It was just really confusing to me why she warns them. Interesting. I wish they would have gone deeper into why warn the planet. At the beginning, they show Galactus as this, insanely powerful, huge guy. He's destroying a planet. Specifically, remember this, 13% bigger than Earth, okay? He destroys a planet 13% bigger than Earth, at the beginning with ease. Now, I know he's in his ship and all that, but just hold on. He's all big and powerful, and then, at the chase scene, they escape him, and Silver Surfer chases them. I don't know if Galactus couldn't do it himself, or if she's powerful enough to just do it for him, and he just expects her to do it. I don't know. If he's all big and powerful, why can't he catch up to the ship? I don't know. It's not that big of a deal, but my point is, he started out as this huge, powerful thing in the middle of the movie, and then, we see him step down into New York, and he's just like, kind of slow. He's, he looks way smaller. The dimensions looked a little off. He's destroying planets 13% bigger than Earth with ease, and then he's walking around buildings and they're almost as tall as him. It's like, okay, what is it? Which one is it? Like, he could have gotten the baby way easier, and he could have defeated them way easier. Plot armor, I guess, whatever, but I feel like he got hyped up at the beginning, and then at the end, he didn't seem as powerful. Now, I know what you're going to say. Oh, Ben Grimm's throwing rocks at him, he throws him up into space. Yeah, I'm not saying the dude's not strong. He's hella strong, but how I've heard about him being, and how he's been in the past, and how we saw him in New York, I was like, it feels like he'd be way stronger. And then Sue basically solos him, at the end. Like, the other teammates are kind of doing stuff, but she's pretty much just doing it all herself, which I guess she's very, very powerful, that she can move him, but it just looks like he's taking it like it's nothing. And I'm like, oh, I feel like there should be more of him fighting back. In my head, maybe it's true, but I just feel like he wouldn't be able to be beat like that. Like, it would have had to been a more, team effort by the Fantastic Four versus her just soloing him, being like, okay, push him in. Like, they should have had him go a little more nuts, like kind of like Thanos did. Like, he didn't really go nuts, and he didn't really be like go insane with his power. One of the last things I had, issues I had with, it's not really an issue, it's just a point. We now have another cosmically insanely OP hero introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Captain Marvel, that was like the kind of the first like crazy one. Wanda, I guess she's dead, but then we had Sentry in Thunderbolt, who is, insanely powerful. I know he's not in form right now. Okay, no one scratched him. And then now we have this baby who's supposedly even more powerful than anyone we've seen in the MCU. And he's now being introduced. So, okay, now we have, all these OP, crazy Marvel characters. And it's like, okay, we're going up against Doom soon. And is this just Marvel's way of setting itself up so it can have an easy defeat? I hope not. Or at least with the Avengers movie that have done well. Anytime that they've introduced a new character, like right before a big movie or something, or like pretty close to a big movie, and then that character just solos, it's like, it needs to be a character that has a lot of character development, I think, that if anyone's gonna defeat the antagonist, like mainly defeat the antagonist, like they did it perfectly with Iron Man, you know. That's what I'm nervous about. I think a good way Marvel can maybe help balance this OP character thing they're doing is by putting the crazy powerful characters against each other in a way. At the end of Fantastic Four, we saw Doom with Franklin, and so what I'm thinking is maybe they have them join, and then we get Sentry on, you know, our team, or another super powerful Marvel character from the past on our team, and it kind of evens the playing field in a way. I'm sure that's probably something like that what they're gonna do to kind of balance it, which I hope if they do it right, maybe it can work. So I thought Pedro Pascal was great. I saw a lot of people say they didn't like his character, or, you know, he's in too much. Maybe, I mean, he can act though, and people are like, oh, why is he all he's so anxious and he's like pouty. I didn't really notice that at all. Remember what's going on inside of his brain. He's the smartest man supposedly on Earth, so the amount of calculations, the amount of thoughts going through his mind, he's the biggest overthinker. If you're the smartest, you're most likely one of the biggest overthinkers. He says it a ton in the movie, so why are we mad that he's like pouty or anxious? First of all, I didn't even notice that much, maybe once, but I don't get why that's such a bad thing. Think about the plot of the movie, guys. And then one of my last points I had, it was pretty funny. Just, I know at the ending the baby like helps revive Sue because of its power, but like the mom, Sue, was like dead. Reed just like shows the baby like the mom's dead body. My friend are like, don't show him the dead body. I don't know, it was just funny. It's like, why are you showing your kid your mom's dead body? But I know you revived her, great. But at first I was like, why are you showing? I think that's about it for my reviews. Was it a step in the right direction? I think we're staying stagnant right now. It was a good movie. It wasn't anything amazing. It's not anything worth glazing over, but I think that it's not a step in the wrong direction. So thank you guys so much for watching, and please stay tuned for more vids. Peace.